Welcome to Other Perspectives. This program aims to provide new perspectives on and insights into issues relevant to our community. With the loss of our daily local newspaper, it is more important than ever that we hear from those knowledgeable about issues and events happening in Ann Arbor. To discuss City Council campaigns, politics, and related issues, I am pleased to have a former mayor and former City Councilwoman. Mayor Ingrid Sheldon, a lifelong resident of Ann Arbor, served as mayor for 4 terms, 1993 to 2000, and on City Council from 1988 to 1992. During her service, the Commission for Increasing Safety for Women and the Commission for Art in Public Places were established. She continues to be active in the community through her involvement in nonprofit and service organizations. Jane Lumm has been a resident of Ann Arbor for more than 3 decades, a City Council member for 3 terms, 1993 to 1998. She too continues to serve Ann Arbor in organizations as diverse as the Street Art Fair, Affordable Housing, Steering Committee, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Washtenaw County. Welcome. So glad to have you here. There's another part to this, this is funding. Funding has become a major campaign issue too. Overall spending for the 2008 council races reached nearly $100,000. Candidates now need to be able to kind of put some of their own money forward. And some candidates' success is really attributed to the fact that they had enough in their war chest to beat the other person. In the Ann Arbor News on Sunday, July 12th, Judy McGovern wrote that the funding of campaigns has become increasingly costly, with approximately $12,000 per candidate. So there's talk from the Democrats about a PAC, the Democratic Political Action Committee, using money to support a candidate in a primary race. So what do you think of this idea? Will it really help or hinder an open process? Jane?
Well, I just think it's another indicator of the tangled web we've woven with partisan elections. The mayor on this topic questioned the wisdom, I think, of the Democrats funding campaigns, because anybody can call themselves anything. And so he didn't want Democratic money funding campaigns of independents and Republicans. And so I think that, again, to me, it all circles back to let's make these kinds of issues disappear. And by having nonpartisan elections, it's less of a factor. I think there would be less pressure on, I think it would relieve some of the fundraising
but there's still that whole component of getting a message out,
yes,
of introducing yourself to the community.
And it's costly.
It does.
Your
billboards at $3,000 or $4,000 a piece.
Ads in the paper, we hope that
there's no papers.
Right.
Unless we could get some sort of elaborate email system or Facebook or Twitter, you could twit people or whatever. And maybe that's what we have to evolve to, is a whole new campaigning structure. But it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there is that, but Ann Arbor likes retail politics, particularly when it comes to local issues. And Ingrid was great at going door to door. I did a lot of that. We all, spent a lot of time out there, but it was important, and it sends a strong message. And that doesn't cost anything. You just have to burn a lot of shoe leather, and it's a good thing. And it also, it's all about getting out, meeting people, understanding what their issues are, and anybody can do that, really. Most anybody. I mean, there are people who are disabled, and that's a greater challenge. So we need to find ways to make it a possibility for anyone to contemplate doing something like this.
So then, if you want to keep it local, which it sounds like you do, what do you think about money and endorsements that come from outside the town? We have Representative Dingle, speaking for someone. I request his endorsement, and he gives it. We also have PAC money coming from outside of town, from Livonia, Lansing, sometimes from the Detroit Teamsters.
Actually, I'm oblivious to it for our local city council elections.
So
I have a problem with that.
In history, I'm not saying exactly how, but but certainly money right now comes from out of town, out of the community. And so I'm just wondering what you think of money coming out from outside the community. Where should a candidate get his money from?
Well, I am sure that some of this money may be coming from friends and relatives that are outside the state that want to support, you know, their cousin Will. But I mean, I deliberately tried to only raise money from the environment that I was running in. So when I was running for Second Ward, I very specifically only sent, you know, my campaign finance letter to Second Ward folks. And then when I went citywide, then it was the city people. And I guess I was very fortunate in that I did not have to rely on, you know, PAC money. That enough friends and acquaintances were willing to support me. And that's maybe one reason why I have never wanted to go beyond the local level, because of that whole fundraising issue of seemingly needing to have to rely upon PACs to finance your campaigns. I mean, that is at a very ridiculous level in my estimation. So it's
I just, you know, I just think PAC money in general, just the concept in and of itself is, I just find it distasteful. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And you know, like Ingrid, I didn't accept any of. I remember one time I was running for city council, I got a check from a group I didn't know who they were, and while it was tempting to cash this generous contribution, I tracked them down, found out who it was. It was actually an outside of Ann Arbor developer at the time. And anyway, I declined the money. I didn't cash the check, and so my supporters were all local too. And I've run unsuccessfully for some other offices, and one-time state rep. I've never accepted PAC money. I've just made that a policy. When I ran for mayor, I didn't accept PAC money, and yeah, I just don't think it's healthy. Right. And again, it's much like the door-to-dooring part of the campaign experience. It's about listening to those local voices and accepting support, whether it's monetary or this, you know, other sorts of support.
Right.